Today, once again, we're still here. We're in Barcelona, Spain. And this is episode 10 of our special edition MWC 2023 episodes. Not long to go now. There are 100,000 people from across the industry and the world here to take part in, without any doubt, the biggest telecoms and technology show on the planet. It's been an incredible journey, and it's amazing to have finally crossed the Atlantic as the GSMA's official podcast sponsor, Unique Show. We are spending the whole week in an amazing recording facility on the jaw-dropping Amdocs booth, recording some fascinating conversations with the industry's biggest names. I'll be joined by customers, analysts, partners, and Amdocs executives as we explore their stories and perspectives for prosperity. As ever, I'm joined by my co-pilot and producer Larissa Yee as these special edition MWC 2023 episodes continue to roll out every Thursday. Only one more to go after this one. This is the penultimate episode of Season 6. And for today's episode, I'm joined by Liliana Schwartz-Brunner, the General Manager and Divisional President of North American Telcos at Amdocs, and she will co-host this episode with me, as she has done many times in the past. And we sit down with Marissa Matthews, who's a leader at Amazon Web Services. We had a great time discussing how 5G can be the impetus of the next industrial revolution and how it will serve as the underpinning for efficiencies with AI, automation, the metaverse. And also, it's really important to discuss how we can encourage more women and particularly young girls to pursue careers in STEM, and how technologies like wireless connectivity and AI will enable us to continue evolving. So without further ado, buckle up, let's get started. So I'd like to welcome our next guest on the Great Indoors here at MWC 2023 in Barcelona. Her name is Marissa Matthews, and she's the leader at Amazon Web Services, AWS. So welcome to the Great Indoors, Marissa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and once again, I'm joined by Liliana Schwartz-Brunner, the Divisional President for North American Operators, who's going to help co-host and join in the conversation. So welcome on board again, Liliana.
Thank you for having me, and I'm so excited to have Marissa with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. So Marissa, let's start with maybe a quick introduction from yourself and your role at AWS, and maybe a little bit of your background and how you got to be at AWS.
Sure. Thank you. I'm a leader within the telecommunications organization. Basically means at AWS we handle our largest telecommunications customers. And how did I get here? My background, I spent, right out of college, I spent almost 15 years at Cisco Systems, building telecommunications networks from the ground up. And then from Cisco, as the technology started moving to cloud, and I looked out amongst my clients, my telecommunications clients, I wanted that one additional tool in the toolbox for them. And I knew cloud was going to be it, so I started interviewing and looking into some of the large hyperscalers. I picked the best, AWS, and been here about 4 years now.
Wow! And you're having fun?
Lots of fun.
Yeah.
So, who's your biggest customer?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who my biggest customer is, but we work with all of the large telecommunication customers. Yeah.
And we're only a couple of days into the show. What have you seen so far that's made you go, wow, or what's stuck with you, or what's been most prevalent as far as anything you've seen?
Look, I think I'd be remiss not to focus on 5G. I think it's going to be the impetus for the next industrial revolution. And as we walk along the floor and see just some of the efficiencies with robots and automation and AI, 5G is going to drive that. I think it's going to be the underpinning of making everything move a lot faster and a lot more efficient. So those are some of kind of the wow moments as you travel the floor and there's a small dog robot following you around. It's been fun to see, pretty exciting. And then, when you can think big on how that's going to kind of change our lives, change industry, it's pretty wild.
No, that's really cool. And I think
we talked about this before, but when you say 5G, there's a multitude of, it's so complex, the ecosystem of new technologies, because many people would even put cloud in with 5G, not that it is 5G, but when we say 5G, we're talking about all those new technologies that are coalescing around that standard, right? Whether it's blockchain, Web 3.0, PEN, MEC, industrial IoT, they all, whilst they're not 5G, and we know they're not 5G, they're all evolving and happening at the same time, right? It's like this perfect storm of new technology colliding together.
That's right, yeah. And I think someone like me who does it day in and day out, we can think very tech-focused, but I also think what's pretty interesting and pretty wild is that it's really use case driven, right?
Absolutely.
So working backwards from that use case, what we could and could not do without the super ultra low latency that 5G now brings is pretty mind exploding.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
What is the most exciting use case you've heard or implemented?
Look, I have, I'm a mom of 4, and I have 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. One of them has some medical special needs. And when I look into medical procedures being done remotely by the best of the best, wherever that person is in the world, and potentially that being done by the use of something low latency like a 5G and robotics, that really excites me. It really does. We're solving human problems, and we're doing it in the best, most efficient way possible. That's pretty cool.
But it was something you said before that stuck with me there, Marissa, as well, and that is, when we look at the previous iterations of the Gs, it was pretty clear what 4G was going to bring. It was pretty clear what 3G, well, no one would have predicted Uber, but it came, but then it was pretty clear what 3G was going to drive. But 5G, whilst we spent years speculating and dreaming about all these wonderful things that it can do, what we're actually seeing is it's finding problems and working backwards, as opposed a solution looking for a problem. It's working its way back, because one of the ones that we had today, and we had Dell come and visit us, they worked on an IoT solution. I love this one, and you'll understand why in a minute. They worked on an IoT solution that helps a brewery. So they had 5G, cloud, a private network in the brewery with sensors on the big brewing casks that have thousands of litres of beer in. And if temperatures go the wrong way, it destroys all that beer. So this solution never dreamt up in advance until they started having this problem where they were dumping all the beer. So that sort of working back from the problem and then using 5G as the solution, I think is pretty novel, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And that's, it comes back to working backwards from the problem or the critical use case that 5G just really hits the mark on, for sure, yeah.
There's a lot of use cases sound fun when we spoke about them. Driverless cars, that sounds pretty cool.
It does.
Woohoo! But ultimately, and I think it was pandemic driven as well, the technology we're seeing now is much more, it's not all about dimes and dollars and cents. It's about fixing some of those problems that society and humanity is facing. I'm being very poetic and profound there, so maybe we'll go to the next question. Liliana, do you want to ask the next question?
So we're reaching the International Women's Month and Day. So do you want to share something specific about yourself? How do you celebrate? And then maybe you want to share a little bit of how AWS celebrates that day/month / the entire year.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll start by saying, being a woman in the industry myself, and then also having two girls, it's something near and dear to my heart. I think one of my mantras has always been giving back, right? I've worked really hard, and especially in the telecommunications industry, there's not many women. And so what I have really tried to sponsor is that give back to other women who have interests and inclinations to be in the same industry as I am. I am co-chair of the Women in Technology group here at Amazon Web Services. Specifically in telco, we sponsor a monthly session where we bring women from outside the industry in to talk about key themes like imposter syndrome or building your brand and others. We also celebrate our women at AWS and call them out, those bar-raising situations where just someone has stood out amongst all others, and we celebrate those. And then just personally, what I like to do is bring home to my girls a really good example. Yeah.
I'm totally related to this. So I have 3 kids and 2 girls. And, it's so important for me to see them thriving, growing, being independent, and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm some example for them. But it's so important to start when they're young to get this confidence they can do whatever they want to do.
For sure.
So you and I actually met through our shared, I think, desire to help our customers, right? And one of the things we did as well, talking about STEM and talking about girls and leadership, both companies, both AWS and Amdocs, are actually a great sponsor to
the New York Hall of Science. Yeah,
New York Hall of
NYSCI.
Science,
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely.
And it's dear to my heart as well, as my older one is actually doing biomedical engineering right now.
Awesome.
In college. How do you see this event? How do you see yourself playing an even bigger role in actually encourage STEM for girls?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it starts like we had mentioned before, right? It starts from the ground up. And look, I think it's a natural, organic process. If our girls are seeing more women in the industry, then the opportunity becomes possible. Their interest and their curiosity starts at a younger age. Like I said, I have 4 kids, and I have chosen topics and opportunities for education at home, and then applied them in their education environment. I think that's super important across all my kids, right? Whether it's the boys or the girls, and I have 4 of them, so I'm able to see that mix in my house. And like I said, I think it starts at a very young age. Our schools that our kids go to all have STEAM or STEM programs, super important.
Yep.
And now I think, as opportunities for bring the kids to work, I take advantage of every year. Opportunities for really allowing them to see what I do every day as much as they can. And then stuff like this, right? This podcast, for example, definitely expose it to my girls and the boys. So,
Wow, that's great.
yeah.
So switching gears, a lot of buzz around AI, ChatGPT, Brad, just name it, right? What's your opinion about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it developing? What's your view?
Yeah, look, I think when you just think about technology and technology evolutions, we've been in this long enough, right? And we've seen even search, a lot of things that have come, just the very basics, can be used in a very productive way, optimizing general things that we do day to day. They can also be used in a negative way. So, like any tool, like any point of efficiency, can also be turned in the wrong direction. That's up to us as human beings to, make sure we steer it in the very right direction.
Yeah.
And there's checks and balances along the way to ensure that happens, right? But that's the risk with every technology.
Exactly.
So
I think
yeah.
with any innovation has come with some negative externality that you didn't foresee. Even the creation of the motor car had the environmental issues and the safety issues. The one we talked about before, that we didn't foresee any problems with, and that's probably why then it caused so many problems, was social media. Mm-hmm. We were also pumped up and excited about it. We didn't realize the problems that it would cause later. But I think the fact that we're cognizant that there's potential issues with generative AI probably means that we'll anticipate them and eliminate them before they cause too many issues. And like you said, there's such a powerful upside that the downside we'll deal with, I think.
we certainly will.
Are you using ChatGPT for anything right now?
I am not.
No?
No, not at this time.
Have you had to play around with it?
I definitely played around with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's pretty neat. I heard it's doing the SATs now.
Yeah, didn't it? It passed the first year of an MBA at Harvard Business School.
It's amazing.
But I keep my children away from it because the homework factor could
for
be
sure.
a bit of an issue.
For sure.
I
yeah.
let them play. I think it's just like the fact that it can be exposed, whether I agree or not, they will be exposed to this. So I let them play, but I let them know the danger part of it as well, right? And the data is like what you get, whatever is in, garbage in, garbage out, right? So it's not.
That's right.
It's not always accurate. Just be skeptical of what you see, what you get. But it's exciting.
Yeah, like with anything, there's a validation point to this, right? We have to, at some point, depending on its use, it has to be validated.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But it's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah. Now, we talked about this show has evolved since it first was in Cannes in the south of France, where it was all handsets. And most of those handset vendors have gone. They have, Ericsson, even Motorola. I know Motorola has something small down there. LG, Nokia has reinvented themselves as a pure network player. So the show has evolved and changed. I don't think it's just a telecom show anymore. It brings everything in from technology. What would be your prediction, Marissa, in May, 10 years from now?
Wow. It's expansive, right? I mean, to your point, it's not just the phone show anymore, right?
Yeah.
It is expanded beyond that. And quite frankly, so is the device, right? The device has brought us new ideas around software applications. The way we work, live, play, I mean, sometimes is right there in our hand now. So, of course, the show has become a bit more end-user driven and consumer or customer experience driven, which is pretty exciting. I see that continuing. I do. I also see some of those efficiencies that we talked about before starting to become more and more engaged and intertwined. Smart manufacturing. We talked about autonomous vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
If I get kind of creative and think big, there's not a lot of drones at the show yet, but I see it happening, right? Robots, drones.
Yeah.
I see it becoming a bit more futuristic in that way, if you will. Yeah.
10 years, they'll replace us?
No,
Maybe they'll do this show.
Or we'll just get smarter.
Oh, there you go.
No, I think the drones one is a really good, because again, drones falls into the world of 5G as something
Sure.
that can be enabled. I know many of the, my twin brother is a drone pilot and then became an instructor for the Royal Air Force. But now there's this move in all public sector services in the United Kingdom, whether it's the fire service or the police service or the ambulance service. They all have individuals now trained on drones.
Wow.
To do that. But I think you're right. I think we've seen the dog running around have you seen the robotic
I have.
dog?
Yeah. I was mentioning that before. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and obviously drones. But I agree with you. I think that could be the Chat GPT element in a couple of years' time that everybody's talking about and getting excited about.
I have to say that I always prefer the real dog. I have to say that. It doesn't matter how cute he is, being a robot.
Yeah.
There's nothing like hugging my dog.
So true.
But when we talk about creativity and use cases, one of the use cases a guest said to me earlier that the best thing I've seen at the show is an application that eliminates the need for me to take my dog to the vet and give them an x-ray. I do this, I upload it into the cloud, this happens, da-da-da-da-da. And she said, I've got a 15-year-old dog, he's got health issues. And that was a use case that spoke personally to her.
Sure.
And I've got two 15-year-old dogs that need to go to... Anyway, but so it spoke to me as well. But it's... I guess the point I'm trying to make is the possibilities are endless.
Sure.
The permutations, the use cases are just endless. And with all these other new technologies, like I said, combining and coalescing around 5G, it gets even mind-blowing, doesn't it, in many
It really
ways?
does, yeah.
Now, there's one other question I'd like to ask you, Marissa.
Sure.
And this is something that I first picked up when we were at MWC in Las Vegas, and I think it's prominent here as well. The need for collaboration, the need for the ecosystem. So if we go back to Cannes or to the early days, service providers wanted to do everything on their own. They built a walled garden. I worked at Vodafone in London at the time. They had the Vodafone Live portal where we used David Beckham in the marketing. But that wasn't an open ecosystem. Every app that went into Vodafone Live was sanctioned, signed off, and in most places developed by Vodafone. But now, collaboration is key.
It is.
And what are your thoughts from an AWS perspective and just your own personal perspective on the real need for that open ecosystem and collaboration?
Yeah, look, so I really started and grew my career at Cisco. They were a partner first culture. So working with partners, value-added resellers, integrators, etc., that has always been part of my professional culture, really.
Yeah.
At AWS, I was able to expand that, right? Through our GSI, ISV partnerships, our partnerships that we have, like Amdocs, right? We can't bring full solutions to customers to solve those business issues and the issues that they will have in the future without partners. So I'm pretty excited, right? I mean, like I discussed and kind of hinted to before, the more expansive tools in my toolbox that I'm able to bring forth, and now with a bigger, smarter, larger, more diverse team to that client, to that customer. So, that's pretty exciting.
No, it's really cool. It's really cool. I think when you look historically at innovation spikes, like the Schumpeter theory, and you saw an innovation would come in, and there would be a jump in GDP, and everybody would benefit. But now we've got, like I said, there's tons of innovations coming in with multiple possibilities. So the upward exponential effect on living standards for everybody is... I mean, even speaking to Ernest Koo, the CEO of Globe, yesterday, and he was a fascinating gentleman, but what they're doing in the Philippines with their GCash to get to the unbanked, with their e-health services, with their connectivity everything that they were doing was to increase the quality of the lives of regular Filipinos. Everything.
Awesome. Yeah.
And he was harnessing every innovation, collaboration. And so I think we're in this industry. I think we're on the right side of things. So it feels good, right?
Mm-hmm. It does. I think we need, we ourselves can be in control of our own culture and that culture of collaboration. We need an industry of collaboration, and we need ideas to bubble to the top really quickly. Some of them fail fast, and then we learn from those, and we move faster, right? We should be comfortable with that. That's how we get enough of those ideas, like you just spoke of, bubbling to the top and actually executing.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're almost out of time, Marissa. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you, Liliana. We're now going to do our fun quick-fire section.
Uh-oh.
It's called TGI to go.
Okay.
And I'm going to basically pose a hypothetical question at you with two potential answers.
Okay.
And
I choose one.
You just choose one.
Okay.
TGI to go.
So we're in Barcelona. You have a day off, if that's even possible. Do you go to the Picasso Museum or to the Gaudi Park?
Park.
Oh, you do? Okay. And have you had a chance to visit?
I have not. No, I've been extremely busy and optimized, if you will.
Yeah. And have you got any plans to stay a little longer?
I do. I am staying a little bit longer to take in Barcelona a little bit.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. That'll be great.
Yeah.
There's parties going on, dinners every night. Do you drink sangria or cava?
Cava.
Cava. Have you had much cava yet?
Yeah, a couple of glasses.
Yeah?
Good.
I'll go with sangria.
Sangria?
We're in Spain. There you go. That's the place to try.
Yeah?
They're delicious.
Okay. A little bit more of the outdoors life now. Yoga or hiking?
Hiking.
Hiking. And do you go hiking regularly?
I do.
I do.
Really? I go hiking. I have a dog as well, not 15. She's younger, but she loves hiking, and the kids love hiking as well. In fact, we have a little log cabin in the Adirondacks, so I'm working on my 46er. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but there's 46 peaks in the Adirondacks, so I'm working. I'm in progress.
Oh, well done. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm absolutely a hiker.
Oh, well,
just send me free. Just I can walk and hike. And that's time for me to think, to breathe. Yeah, hiking.
Okay. Let's go to some culinary delights. Paella or tapas?
Tapas.
Yeah.
Although I had some amazing paella last night.
Oh, did you?
It was really good. We did a squid ink black paella. Off the charts. Yeah. But I hear you're not supposed to eat paella at night. Only tourists do that.
Oh, really?
But that's okay.
That.
I did it anyway. But
yeah, that's totally fine. I think
you're here. You survived.
I did. Yeah.
Tapas for me?
Yeah.
I just love the different variety of flavors and colors and smells.
Yeah. Now, and we were talking about food then, but if you could have a dinner partner at said paella, would it be Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg?
Oh, probably.
I was going to say, or Jeff Bezos.
Oh, well.
No, but I'll just leave it with Elon and Mark.
Probably Elon. I mean, he's interesting. Got to give him that.
Yeah, Elon it is. I'll take him every day. He's such a fascinating guy, and he's like, and in so many different fields. He just doesn't confine himself to anything, and he's breaking all rules, and he's redefining new ones.
Well, we talked about it, right? That think big and innovation, and
he's a doer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
When you think about forward thinkers, he's thinking further ahead than anyone. I mean, as far as talking about space exploration, colonizing Mars, I mean, it's way down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's way down the road. Well, listen, I want to thank you, Marissa, for joining The Great Indoors today. I hope you enjoyed your time with us. It was wonderful meeting you and having the conversation with you.
I did. Thanks for the invite, and thanks for the continued partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Liliana, for co-hosting. Do you have any final words you'd like to leave for our listeners before we sign off today?
I don't. Just I think in recognition of Women's Day, that's right around the corner. We have the opportunity to do some really great things this year, and our partnership and collaboration, and just leaving with, it gives us the opportunity to really, innovate and think big and keep on going.
What a great episode, another one, and stay tuned. One more episode to go this season, and it's an absolute cracker. So please leave a review if you feel so inclined. It certainly helps us. Visit our website, amdocs.com/The Great Indoors, where we have all back episodes and a cornucopia of assets related to TGI. In fact, check out our website now to see our Barcelona sizzle reel that features many of the guests we've interviewed in this series. It's really cool. So with that, I shall bid you farewell, and all that is left to say is I'm Matthew Roberts for Amdocs in Barcelona, and I'll see you next time, wherever you are. Bye-bye.